Call to order the Little Miami Local School Board of Education regular meeting, April 24th. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Joyce?
Here.
Mr. Means?
Here.
Mr. Seaver?
Here.
Mrs. Jernay?
Here.
Mr. Haas?
Here. Okay. We're going to present.
Ace. Present. Arms.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Arms. Left. Ace. Forward. Arch.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, we need a motion to adopt the agenda with the addendum that you have in your possession. Does anybody have one?
I'll move.
Mr. Kameen?
Second.
Ms. Grice? Roll call, please.
Mr. Means?
Yes.
Mr. Seaver?
Yes.
Mrs. Jernay?
Yes.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Mrs. Joyce?
Yes.
Okay, at this time, we need to open our calendar hearing for the proposed drafts of the 2019-2020 school calendars, 1, 2, and 3 for review. The board will take comments at this time.
In the way of some background,
Yes, sir.
we annually review a calendar. We're doing a calendar 2 years out. Next year's calendar has already been adopted. This year, working with the staff, they created 11 draft calendars, and then our district liaison, which is our teachers' advisory group, narrowed those down to the 3 drafts that you have in front of you right now, draft 1, draft 2, and draft 3. The start dates, draft 1 is August 14th, draft 2 is August 15th, and draft 3 is August the 12th. All of the calendars have Christmas break that starts later and carries over through the first week in January, and spring break shifts to the end of the third quarter, from the end of the third quarter on draft 1 to the week before Easter, and on draft 2 and 3, spring break is shifting to the week after Easter. The last student day on draft 1 is May the 20th, and on drafts 2 and 3 is May the 21st. On draft 1, there are a set of in-service days that are referenced to staff. There's a note on the bottom of that calendar that indicates that.
And I guess because the graduation is, we don't know when it will be, so it's not on.
We actually are set up for graduation. Yes, I don't think this is like it's here, but we have a 6 o'clock Sunday night time that I believe is the Sunday before Memorial Day. Typically, in this process, we have a calendar hearing 1 month, and then the next month, there's a recommendation to the board based off the feedback.
All right. The board will take comments. Are there any comments on the 3 drafts that spin through the school district? Seeing that means no. Okay, at this time, we will close the hearing on the proposed drafts. And you said, Mr. Power, that we will have a recommendation given to us next month?
At the May board
The
meeting.
May board meeting? Thank you. Okay, at this time, I need a motion for the reading of the minutes of March 27th, regular meeting. Mr. Nay? Mr. Cremines? Roll call, please.
Mr. Siebert,
Yes.
Mrs. Drenay,
Yes.
Mr. Haas,
Yes.
Mrs. Rice,
Yes.
Mr. Cremines.
Yes.
Okay, at this time, communications and/or visitors to the board. Mr. Crown, you want to?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Haas. We have some visitors tonight with us. Mr. Rick Smith, the Warren County Superintendent, is here with a couple of other visitors.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to introduce myself to all your board members and to the community members that are here tonight. I'm Rick Smith. I started as superintendent at Warren County Career Center on June 1st. Warren County is a great place to be. We appreciate the partnership we have with our little Miami homeschool, and certainly the relationship we have with Bobby Grice and Mike Koreans. And Greg has been a tremendous mentor to me as I get to know the community. But I wanted to make sure you could put a face with the name, and I also brought 2 students here, 2 of Little Miami's best and brightest that go to Warren County Career Center. I'll let them introduce themselves, talk a little bit about what program they're in, and just share what their future goals are, because I think it's pretty fantastic.
Are you going to introduce your wife?
Oh yeah, and my wife's in the audience too. Her name's Mary.
That's a pretty good goal for 2.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's good to know.
You got to prioritize. Wife, kids. Okay, go ahead, you guys.
Hi, I'm Alexis Robb. I'm in the Culinary Arts program at the Warren County Career Center. I'm a junior there now, and I've been going there for about a year. Before that, I was here since kindergarten, so this is the first leap of faith I've ever taken, and it's crazy, but
It's working out for you, though.
it is. It's an amazing school with amazing teachers and amazing people, and every student is very interconnected, and it feels like one big family there. On my future goals, I want to go to Johnson & Wales. It's in Colorado. It's a culinary institution. And
That's a good goal.
yeah, and I eventually want to open my own restaurant.
Fantastic.
Hi, I'm Sam Henrik. I am a senior member of the carpentry program. Being a member of the carpentry program, I've been able to learn many things about my trade. We take part in real construction activities outside of a classroom, providing us with more experience than traditional tech prep schools. This helps me get to my future goals through, I want to own my own business one day, my own carpentry business, and this experience will help me get there.
What's your big project this year?
We're working on Armco Park. It's a 2-story concession stand with a deck that goes out 25 feet.
Does it overlook the 18th grade?
I hope so. We brought some cookies. I don't know if the board members will share those with you. And then some packets for board members, just to talk a little bit about what we do and who we are. If I can assist in any projects or whatever, don't hesitate to reach out to me. So thank you. Great job, you guys.
Thank you, Rick, very much appreciate working with you this year. Thank you. Next, we'd like to recognize our Project Excellence teachers this year. Every year, we teachers who are nominated for recognition. They will be recognized at a formal dinner next Wednesday night. And so I'd like to have Don Gasper, a counselor at our intermediate school, and Gina Woods, a 4th grade teacher from Salem. I don't bite. Come on. I'm not sure. I had dinner. I'm well fed tonight. Both of these individuals have been longtime educators in our district. I think the one thing that is really outstanding about them is they put their kids first, and kids always come first with them, and they live that every day through their actions that they do for kids. So we're really, really proud to have them recognized this year.
Thank you.
One of the things to do this time of year is I get to go to their classroom and let them know. So I always show up with flowers and a card. And typically, these are the only other women that I give flowers.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
See you next week.
You want to say anything, guys?
Come on, speak, little speak.
All right, well, I see a lot of familiar faces. I've been here for 22 years, and I really want to thank the parents and the colleagues and the students that nominated me. I was a little shocked. One of the students, when he brought in the roses, they haven't met my husband. One of them said, "Oh, is that your husband?" No. Picture that you see me, I'm looking down, I'm trying not to laugh because I'm so, yeah, it was pretty funny, but the class was really excited about it. I was too, but they were way more excited, so I was just proud to have them be excited and get the nomination. So thank you.
Right on. Yes, thank you. This is my 30th year in education, so this was quite a thrill to receive it this year. 18 years here at Little Miami, and like Gina said, it was exciting. The kids in the building were great. They made me cards, and it's hilarious to read cards from kids, the spelling and what they say, and how you help them. So that was a treat, and it's just been a real thrill. I love my job. You never know what's going to happen day in and day out, and it's just great. And I look forward to working a few more years here at Little Miami. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to recognize one of our students. I'd like to ask Jack Miracle and his dad, come on down. Dad wants to get a picture of this. You know, Jack is an exceptional speller. I've got information here that says that he won our spelling bee in the 3rd and 4th grade at Salem, and that he recently participated in the Scripps WCPO TV regional spelling bee, and that he made it through the first 3 rounds of the competition on March the 2nd, only to be eliminated when asked a very hard word. What was that word, Jack? Mufftar.
Can you spell it now?
Mukhtar.
Awesome. He's had a long history of spelling success, and we'd like to recognize Jack for that. And next, we have a little show and tell going here tonight from our maintenance department. Yes, we brought some things here to show tonight. Dave Corey, our maintenance supervisor, is going to make sure that we're all healthy when we leave tonight. He's got some special equipment here.
This is called the Protectus System. What it is, it's a toy.
I gotta have one of these. I don't even know what it's.
It's a stealth ray gun.
What it is it's a disinfectant gun, basically, is the easiest way to put it. No. What this does is, these tablets that are in here, you put them in water, and they dissolve, and they create a disinfectant. When you hook this to the machine, and then you go in the classroom and spray machine, pull the trigger, and spray, it sends out like a mist, but it's not a mister. It ionizes and energizes the chemicals in here, so that when it hits the surface, it doesn't just land, it wraps around, up underneath, any places that when you normally wipe, you may miss. So, it has a chlorine stench to it, but it's not actually chlorine like we use in our pool, which is hypochlorite. This is hypochlorous, which our white blood cells produce.
So, it doesn't leave any, like, breathe in?
It will have a smell for the first
But it doesn't
4
have
minutes.
any-
There is no inhalation irritation.
Okay,
Right.
that's what I wanted to know.
Where bleach is known to cause that problem, and cause burns, and especially to kids, this does not. Now, it says you can spray it with kids in the room and people. We do not spray it with kids in the room or with people in the room. But it will kill MRSA, C. diff, staph, HIV, hepatitis, herpes, influenza, H1N1, mold and mildew. There's more. Huh? That's what we're still working out. Right now, it's like going to be like maybe a monthly thing. We rotate the classrooms through the month. Come flu season, we might pick it up a little bit more. If a teacher seems to be having a lot of sick kids in their class, we might do it a little more frequently. If a kid gets sick in class after we clean up the mess, we can actually go in the classroom, spray this, then the kids and the teacher can re-enter the room after about 4 to 5 minutes. It's 4 minutes of exposure to kill C. diff, which there's a lot more it kills. It goes on and on. It's actually safe. The 1 dilution ratio with the tablets is safe to use in food service areas. It is FDA approved. It's been cleared by the EPA, OSHA, NOSHA, you name them, they've all tested it and cleared it. It'll do 500 square feet in 3 minutes. So, about 5 minutes we can sanitize the whole classroom.
You said it charges the particles so that they actually stick and they'll wrap around the surface.
Yeah, it energizes them and atomizes them, I guess is what it's called. And so when it comes out, it'll actually wrap. And the chemicals in it are not corrosive to metals like bleach would be, and they won't strip our floors. We do have to do a little training on the distance of the sprayer. We did have one classroom that they got a little too close to a piece of paper, a couple pieces of paper, and they left little spots on them. So, but we are working out some of the glitches and trying to write a procedure on how to use these.
How many do you have this year?
There are a couple versions of this. Clorox makes, not Clorox, another company makes one called Clorox 360. It's actually about this big, comes on a cart, it's got an extension cord, a hose, and then you got to put 2 5-gallon jugs and run thing. That's $4,995 just for one. These are we paid $618 for these, so we bought one for every building. And then like the Clorox 5-gallon containers run about $200 or $300. These tablets are 3.3 grams. They're 22 cents each. There's 200 in here, so $44. So
Does it even?
each room can be done in 5 minutes or less. And once we mix it and seal it, it's actually got a shelf life of 1 year.
Says it even gets rid of the words.
Yes. Is the athletic director right here? Actually, you can take it into the locker room if you've ever been around the football players. You can spray it. It will actually kill the body odor on the shoulder pads and the uniforms. That's $618. And you'll see the one brochure I got talks about gyms, that somebody's got a free membership to your gym. It's good for weight rooms, equipment, stuff like that, and it won't hurt it. So,
So we can use it in our restroom.
Yeah, we can use it on our wrestling mat to get C-Def and MRSA and all that out. I'm sure the coaches will still want to do their thing. And this does not replace normal cleaning. So this is just an extra step to kind of help cut things down.
Pretty cool. Very nice.
The batteries are supposed to last for 5 years. So, the only building that has it right now is Salem. And I don't want to put the word test dummies out there because they're not really. But that's where I've been kind of waiting to get the feedback. Like the other day, he had it out and there were some teachers that had questions, so I went and addressed them. So that when I write this up for the other buildings, I know what things I need to address in our procedures of how to handle things. So, and the teachers have been real great with it, just asking questions and understanding. So,
So did you get this from another school that had used it, or you just heard about it? Or?
actually, there's a school in Texas. This all goes back to our IAQ program that we've been working on through Salem and going to take the other schools. Like Salem has all microfiber stuff now. We're actually getting ready to put it in all the buildings. But there was a school in Texas, because they get paid by the attendance per day for their monies, that tracked their attendance, and they did the microfiber, the IAQ, and they brought in these types of systems. They actually did the Clorox 360 system. So that's what first turned me onto it, but they seem like and I don't know how you do more than 100%, but like 130-some% increase in attendance within a year of doing microfibers in these systems. So, and our environmental hygienist actually, she looked at this in the 360, and she has even offered to come into a classroom, take samples, surface samples before we spray, and then after we spray, wait 5 minutes to go ahead and take more surface samples to see how effective it really is. And I have had teachers ask if they can rental for the weekend from home and stuff, but I told them that.
Very nice, thank you.
Right.
Good job.
Very nice.
Nah, that'd be my luck. Somebody see me in the room and they get shot through the window.
Thank you very much. That's very nice.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Okay. All right. At this time, we'll entertain community comments on agenda items. Ms. Coates?
No one has signed up.
Okay, thank you. This time, we have the treasurer's reports and recommendations.
Just under item 9, letter A, asking for approval of the monthly financial reports for month ending March 2018.
I'll move. Mr. Kamin? Mr. Nay? Anything you want to cover?
Yeah, it covers our monthly bank reconciliation and then also revenue report for the general operating fund. It includes also 2 different budgetary reports for the operating fund and, I don't know what is it. Oh, another separate budgetary report.
All right. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Jordan?
Yes.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Mrs. Grice?
Yes.
Mr. Kamin's?
Yes.
Mr. Seaver?
Yes.
Next, under item B, I ask for the board's approval of the following contracts as listed.
I'll move.
Ms. Grice? Mr. Nay? You want to walk through those, Mr. Gunn?
Yes, I can. The first one, Ingenuity, is for our online learning, online classes. The second one is DataWorks, and it's actually for our PeopleWorks HR software. The Proactive Consulting is actually for Adhera, which are asbestos inspections for ported buildings. Meals Plus is it's a point of sale system, also point of sale system for the cafeterias. And then the last one, the IMSC, actually is Horton Gillingham training, and that is a sensory type training. I'm not an expert on that one, but phonics based.
It's a good one.
Questions or comments on any of these? All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Mrs. Grice?
Yes.
Mr. Kamin?
Yes.
Mr. Seaver?
Yes.
Mrs. Jordan?
Yes.
Under item C, ask the board approval of resolution 18005 for the deferred compensation plan with AXA Advisors.
I'll move.
Ms. Grice?
Second.
Mr. Kamin? Terry, could you please explain?
Yes, absolutely. This is a tax deferred savings plan, much like 403Bs. This is with the Internal Revenue Code of 457, and it's another way to put your money away in a tax deferred plan. We actually offer two already, the High Deferred Compensation Program, and then we also offer VOIA, which used to be ING. We're just adding a third one since we didn't have very many 457 plans. We actually have some interest from some employees also. AXA is already here providing services for 403Bs. So we wanted to add the 457 plans. It's tax deferred. One thing I saw 457 compared to 403B. Not a financial planner, but there's no 10% penalty if you withdraw under age 59 and a half, which is the difference between that and 403B. Just want to give our employees another opportunity. Actually, board members are eligible to put money away in the tax deferred plan also.
No questions? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Grice?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Mr. Siebert?
Yes.
Mrs. Jermaine?
Yes.
Mr. Hall?
Yes.
Consider item D, asks for the board's approval of awarding the bid for the renovations in the outfit of Mansville Crossing.
I agree.
Renee? Mr. Kermit? I think we should take our time then.
And that was with Venture One, they were the lowest bidder.
That's what I was gonna say. So we're recommending Venture One?
That's correct.
Yes, you have a letter from Immersion, there in
Yeah,
your
that's what it is.
stack. Joe, we have with us tonight Joe Sweeney. Joe should be a familiar face. Joe?
There it is.
Joe is an architect with Immersion now. He was actually an architect on our intermediate school project with Voorhees Sloan. And he recently moved to Immersion, and he's going to oversee the renovation and fit out of the board office for us.
Okay. This time, roll call, please.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Mr. Siebert?
Yes.
Mrs. Jermaine? Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Mrs. Perez? Thank you. And then last, actually located on your addendum, looking for the board's approval of the sublease agreement with Cincinnati Eye Institute.
I'll move. Mr. Cummings? Ms. Grice?
In the way of some background, I got this actually on certified mail yesterday. Cincinnati Eye Institute is doing a corporate reorganization, and they've created a corporate holding company that's an LLC that's out of Delaware, and they're putting all of their billings and expenses through that company located in Delaware. And this just modifies the lease to allow that company to hold the primary lease, and then they're going to sublease it from that company.
So it's a corporate structure, it's not that they're actually subleasing to.
Right.
Yeah, leasing back themselves.
Leasing back to themselves. Okay.
And I don't know where in my third grade education as a teacher, I would ever have been talking about anything like that.
It's all right.
All right. Roll call, please.
Mr. Siebert?
Yes.
Mrs. Jermaine?
Yes.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Mrs. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Thank you, that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Donovan. At this time, we will entertain superintendent's reports and recommendations.
We ask the board's approval for all items listed under item A on the personnel part of the board agenda.
Including the addendum sheet.
Yes, including the agenda.
Okay. Ms. Jernae,
I'll second.
Ms. Grice. Okay. Roll call, please.
Mr. Jermaine?
Yes.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Mr. Rice?
Yes.
Mr. Cummings?
Yes.
Mr. Siebert?
Yes.
Thank you. We'd like to, Ms. Amber Cooper, would you come down and down front here? Amber is our new special ed coordinator. She'll be working with Dee and Marla. We're very pleased. Amber's been in our preschool program as a teacher and finished her administrative licensure, and we think she's going to really be a positive addition to our special education.
All right, great.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
then I know we have a lot of new employees that are sitting in the audience, and I would like the new employees to come up and introduce yourself to the board.
Sixth grade language. Thank you.
I have flashbacks.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Yes.
Felt like I was.
Okay, next is item B, and I'm going to vacate the chair on the advice of legal counsel.
That's a great idea. That is a great idea.
Make
Yeah.
a recommendation.
This time,
Did you want to sit down?
yeah, you-
No, I'm good. One item, I'm out.
One item down. Okay.
All right. Under item B, I recommend approval for the personnel matter.
Okay.
I'll move.
Ms. Grice? Mr. Kareem? Roll call, please.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Ms. Grice?
Yes.
Mr. Kareem?
Yes.
Mr. Seaver?
Yes.
Mr. Net?
Yes.
You did an excellent
Good
job.
job.
Good job, John, Superintendent.
Yeah, you handled that well.
Need a return.
I think I'm in trouble, Marla. Item C, I would ask the board's approval for the class of 2018 graduates.
Ms. Jornet? Need a second?
Second.
Mr. Seifert? Okay. Roll call, please.
Ms. Grice?
Yes.
Mr. Kareem?
Yes.
Mr. Seaver?
Yes.
Mr. Net?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
And at this point, I think it would be appropriate for me to thank Tejas, our student
That's
rep.
right.
It's your last board meeting, because you're going to be a graduate come next month. So congratulations, and we appreciate your insight and
Yes.
all that you've done to share your insights as a student here. Thank you.
What's next year?
Roll
I want to see that.
Excellent, yes.
Come back to the next one.
Next, I'd ask the board's approval for item D, the LMHS Marching Band Handbook for next year.
Ms. Jornet?
I'll second.
Ms. Grice? Roll call, please.
Mr. Kareem?
Yes.
Mr. Seaver?
Yes.
Mr. Net?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Ms. Grice?
Yes.
Next, I ask the board's approval for item E, the records retention schedule.
I'll move.
Ms. Grice?
Second.
Mr. Kareem? I did want to say, I noticed, I thought it was very, very interesting looking through that. With the advent of computers, how we were going to use less paper, but it required paper for everything in the retention. Up to 75 years. Yeah, amazing, amazing. So, okay, roll call, please.
Mr. Seaver?
Yes.
Mr. Net?
Yes.
Mr. Hawes?
Yes.
Ms. Grice?
Yes.
Mr. Kareem?
Yes.
Thank you, that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Power. Okay, at this time, under new business, informational items, the first reading of the maintenance supervisor / director of support services description in the high school, middle school, elementary school job counselor job description. Also, at this time, do we have a Warren County Career Center report?
Mr. Smith was here, I decided not to bestow my wisdom on him.
That's,
Giddy up.
I did not say that. I did not say that. I was thinking that.
Marla, I think we're going to put in.
Okay, our next board meeting is May 22nd, 7 p.m. here at the Media Center to Little Miami High School. So at this time, community comments on non-agenda items. Greg Hauser.
Good evening.
Thank you, Greg.
So I have a question for you, because many of you are educators. Most of you, you're really all educators. And I'll pick on Mrs. Duffy. What's the first thing a kid does when he doesn't do his homework, doesn't study for a test, doesn't have his project completed?
What's the first thing he does?
Yeah,
He makes an excuse.
exactly. He tries to defer responsibility to somebody else, right? He pushes the responsibility to someone else. And the last time I was here, I had an opportunity to speak with one of the teachers in the parking lot who thought they knew me. Because I was talking about the FASTER program and the trauma medicine aspect of the FASTER program, to be able to stop the bleeding. So for those of you that are new, since we have new teachers, if you're not familiar with the FASTER program, I have homework for you. Go to fastersaveslives.com. Do it. Read the white paper. It's good. It's deep. It's thorough. The Faster Saves Lives program has been in place in Ohio for 5 years, has trained over 1,000 teachers and school administrators. It's a similar program has been in place in other states for over 10 years. So everything you think you assume is probably wrong, because we have experience and we know what actually happens. So all those concerns that you might come up with, no, it just doesn't happen. So read the white paper. Educate yourself as educators. So as I left the school, this teacher spoke to me and said, well, we've kind of considered some other options. We've got a 2-minute response time from law enforcement to be able to respond to an active shooter. 2 minutes. Well, that sounds really good, doesn't it? 2 minutes sounds great. That's probably best case scenario, but let's do the math on 2 minutes. If you boil it down, it's probably about 6 kids and a teacher. 6 kids. So that's your price to absolve yourself of responsibility. Now, that doesn't mean you actually have to go through the program, but if you're standing in the way of those that do, that's your price of comfort, is 6 kids and a teacher, right? Because what are we doing when we call the cops? When we hit the panic button, when we pick up the phone and call 911, what are we really saying? We're saying, hurry, somebody please bring a gun here now, right? That's what we're saying. And if you talk to the firearms instructors in law enforcement and understand how little their officers actually train, and understand how lax the actual OPATA requirements are to pass, you'd probably be a little disappointed in how frequency the most common patrol officers come. Now, credit where credit is due to our law enforcement. They trained at our schools over spring break. So that deserves some recognition. Now, I want you to make sure you understand that when we think of things like, well, let's step up patrols, right? We'll come in on an uncertain schedule, right? Well, the kids know there's windows, right? So if there's a kid hell-bent on committing murder, they're going to look out the window and look for the patrol car, right? It may sound good, just like 2 minutes sounds good, but it's probably not good enough. More credit where credit is due. Principal Cherry has taken the initiative to make sure there's some trauma medicine training for his staff. And I told Principal Cherry that I'd write a check for $500 for trauma kits. And the FASTER program will match that, so that's $1,000 worth of trauma kits for his school at no charge if he goes through that program. My time is up?
Yep, your time's up.
Okay. Can I make one final statement?
One final statement.
Okay, thank you. All I'd ask is that as educators, please educate yourselves. And when you go to school tomorrow, I want you to look in a classroom, and I want you to look at a teacher, when you know, whether you don't know, and look at 6 kids in the front row and decide, is that my price to absolve myself of responsibility, or am I going to stand in the way? Because you're requiring them to die if you don't let them defend themselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
There's no one else over there.
nobody else on there? Okay. As a community member, I would like to say something. I belong to the Chamber of Commerce, and we are trying to bring the community together. And in July, August, and September, we are going to have the first Friday in Morrow. And we're going to have bands, and we're going to have things for the kids to do. We're going to have jump outs. We're going to have all kinds of things. We need some community help and some community input. So I would appreciate, I'm the president of the chamber, if you have any ideas or you want to volunteer or anything like that, I would appreciate it if you would get a hold of me. My number's on the website. So we're trying, we also are going to, in August, have the cardboard regatta. So we are working on bringing, quit laughing,
bringing the community together, both Mainville, Butlerville, and Morrow. So that's all I can say.
And what was the date again?
It's the first Friday in July, August, and
In
September.
July, August.
We didn't do June because everybody's gonna be on vacation or all this stuff's going on, so. But
Where's the location?
it's in the Morrow Plaza,
In the plaza, okay.
and the First National Bank is sponsoring it, and we'll take donations, we'll take anything, help, and so, that's what we're doing.
And you're the contact person that
I'm
we
a
should...
contact person.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. White.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay. No one else has signed up? Okay.
Go.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Let's make sure that we are registered and we do exercise our right to vote on May the 8th,
2018.
2018. That's right, this year.
Voting is open now.
It is.
Yeah, actually, you can, that's right, you can actually go vote now, so that's excellent. Thank you very much, Chris.
We did it today.
Did you
Well, bless you.
We did.
vote early? Vote
Vote's a little man.
late? Vote for?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, at this time, we need a motion for adjournment.
I move.
Ms. Grice,
Second.
Mr. Kamin, roll call, please.
Mr. Day?
Yes.
Mr. Haas?
Yes.
Ms. Rice? Mr. Cooney?
Yes.
Mr. Seaver?
Yes.
Thank all of you for coming.